FNaF World was released on January 21st, 2016 and was met with a media backlash. People were commenting on the fact that the game was very obviously rushed and unpolished, as well as filled to the brim with bugs and glitches. As commented by Scott Cawthon himself, the game almost single-handedly killed the entire Final Fantasy franchise, which is obviously a bad move when the franchise was pretty early on in its development, as the franchise was only 2 years old at the point of FNaF World's release. Scott later switched the provider of FNaF World from Steam to GameJolt because he deemed it wouldn't be fit on Steam with the lack of polish the game had at the time. And Scott made the game free as opposed to the $10 price tag and provided refunds for the people who bought it when it was originally on Steam. Scott polished the game a lot more before the GameJolt release, as the overworld map was given a complete overhaul, switching from a 2D type of look to a 3D plane. Scott then did the biggest update the game had ever seen at the point of its release, aptly titled Update 2. Update 2 added a lot of stuff, mainly a full new row of characters, a whole new world to explore, a new ending, new boss fights, and new enemies to boot. However, at this point, people lost faith in the game and wouldn't give it another chance after the disaster launch the game had.
Not me though! Not me though!
I don't think I've been totally vocal on my opinions of this game, but I love it. It goes without saying I love FNaF, but I'm not one of those people like hardcore Sonic fans that think the franchise in question can do no wrong and it's just misunderstood. But that's just not the case with FNaF. I wouldn't say that any of the main FNaF games that follow the subtitle structure or the FNaF 1-2 type of structure are inherently bad, but the more spin-off type games and some of the merchandise can be definitely a hit and miss for me and many people. Some have their charm, but other ones are definitely questionable. FNaF World is just good old-fashioned fun. It has addictive gameplay, albeit a bit repetitive, as well as tons of replay value, with multiple endings that actually give a bit of the lore for the FNaF franchise. So, why was FNaF World so hated? It's clear to see the faults that FNaF World has. Lack of polish, focus, full-on game-breaking bugs that kill the game for most people. Well, these were complaints back then. Lately, FNaF World has seen a bit of a resurgence with people like Dako replaying the game and talking about how much the game is underrated, with some people being confused that the game was even a punchline in the FNaF community at all. However, one of the main reasons why I feel like this game was hated by a lot of its community was that it was so different from the rest of the games at the time of its release. The trailer build-up was building up this immaculate Final Fantasy Freddy's game that was going to put all the previous four to shame, but instead these cute type of Freddy characters popped up, and it's safe to say that most people were disappointed and some were even angry at the fact that we got cheated out of this kind of promised FNaF game that ended up becoming Sister Location. But hey, Sister Location was teased in FNaF World, so you can't put that away from it. FNaF World is, embarrassingly to admit, my favorite RPG of all time. I know that might be a little crazy with games like Earthbound, Pokemon, Undertale out there, but I feel like more people are starting to share that opinion the more and more FNaF World becomes more popular, and maybe one day we can get Scott to give us that true Update 3 or even a FNaF World sequel. Until then, we have to rely on the FNaF community. Even that is a bit more hit or miss, but that's a different topic for a different day. Until FNaF in Space 3 comes out in 2058, baby!